And welcome back to the Houston Texans franchise rebuild. Here today, we have another off season. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. As the Houston Texans are coming off of their first ever Super Bowl victory in their league. In this rebuild, we beat the Dallas Cowboys 35-28, and now we're getting ready for another year of going through an off season, simulating, and seeing how far we could really take this team. As you guys can sit here and see, Mason Pryor was the MVP as we won our first ever championship for the for this Houston team. Well, we're now on top. Now we have 3 more seasons that I want to go through with this team, and we're gonna have some fun here. We do have some upgrades to get through. Now all these are practice squad, and some of these guys are starters, but I will do these guys on my own time here. But in reality, what changes to the roster do we have to make? That's going to be really the first question. We have $100 million to work with. We got to go through scouting. Our focus needs to change, and needs to change quickly. So this is our salary. These are our books right here, as we do have Nico Collins under contract. Same with Derek Stingley, same with Christian Harris. Damian Pierce will enter the last year of his deal, but we have Paul Wilkerson. We still have a lot of our we have all of our top overall players, all of our 90 overall players under contract, other than Kenyon Green. We got to decide now on Marcus Cook, it looks like. I don't know what contracts that we have to decide on, so I think, potentially needing to find a backup quarterback here, but backup quarterback isn't going to be at the top on my priority book. Running back will end up no doubt, because Saquon had a very good season for us. He had a quality year, 100%. Got to think about backup running back for this team. Either way, receiver could be an option here, 100%, but not going to make that a massive priority. Tight end, I think we're kind of set. Tunsil might end up retiring, and if he does, we have Josh Taylor, so we're kind of set there. Probably getting some depth across this offensive line. This defensive line, though, could be in midst of a change. Dwight Pianzo, got to make a decision on him. Same thing here with David Elliott here. I mean, do we turn to both Josh and Terrence Boykin here? I don't know. And if we move off of Dwight, we have Dion, who we drafted in the first round, who I think is just a star depth player, and he is. I think he can play 100. I know he can play. It's just, do I want to start him right now? Or, do we want to keep Dwight? Do we not want to keep Dwight? That's really the question marks. Linebacker, I think we're good. Maybe get some more depth. Corner group. Okay, we got a lot of decisions to be made here. We have to bring back Marcus Cook. Got to think about Brenton McLean. Eric Stokes was only brought in for a season. And then safety, I think we're kind of set at. Got to keep Matt Gay. So, okay, we got some decisions to do. Let's get to the re-sign phase. And before we re-sign any players, we have some retirements. Leonard Williams, Mike Edwards, and Saquon Barkley. Chase Linovich retires. My goodness, I would have loved to bring back Chase Linovich just for one more run. Just to sit here and say he was on my roster again. He was one of those players that I never wanted to let go. He just did not want to come back, and I don't think we had a I think the franchise tag would have just been way too much for him. I don't see any other players that were on our team or we've played against too much, but there's a lot of big names that have retired, it looks like. I don't see too many. And Andy Reid has decided to retire. I don't know. Maybe that's everything. But we have the re-sign phase. We have over $100 million, 14 players to make decisions on here. Marcus Cook now. Now he wants a 1-year deal. I don't think he wanted a 1-year deal prior to this. So this 1-year offer is a 1 year, almost $20 million. I don't want to do that. I want to make sure we can keep Marcus Cook for the remaining of this rebuild. Can you just stay? He would like to play it for a new team. Okay. My God. How much is the franchise tag for Marcus? $21 million. Okay. Tunsil still has interest in coming back, 35 years old. Would consider keeping Tunsil for another season. He's a good quality lineman. Still an average left tackle in this league. Probably going to try to keep Tunsil. We have David Elliott, Eric Stokes, Brenton McLean, Matt Gay. Matt Gay I would like to keep. I'm going to give him a 3-year extension, though, or attempt to. Just because I want to stop thinking about kickers. So we got Matt Gay under contract, so that's good. So we have our kicker under contract. Dwight Pianzo, Ben Powers. So we now have our depth. So for Daniel Williams, I would like to keep him, but I don't want to be paying him like, I mean, I'll pay him $1 million. So Williams does not come back. Terry Fleming's here. He's gonna go. Nate Hitchcock, if he wants to come back on a 1-year, $3 million, I will gladly keep him. He's solid depth. Let's do the depth first. Knox here will let go. Same thing here for Higbee, who I'm surprised wants to even stay playing football. For Derek Charles, yeah, he's just not going to come back. Ben Powers, I would like to keep. I'll even give Ben a 3-year contract, just because he wants no guaranteed money. We can cut him at any moment in time. Now we kind of got some decisions to be made here. So for a player like Eric Stokes, I mean, he only wants less than $4 million. Stokes might not be a bad player to keep. Especially because I don't think we're going to be able to bring back Brenton McLean. Dwight Pianzo, I would like to keep. I think he's just a good player. So perfect, he's back. So we have Dwight back on the roster. Now it's Elliott. David Elliott. The reason I want to keep Elliott, even though he didn't have this season that I was hoping, this is not a terrible contract. He does stay, but we don't have like amazing defensive tackles, and I don't want to continue just trying to bring in youth. I think for Brenton McLean, we're gonna let him go. We're gonna let him test. You know, I think the same thing here for Eric Stokes. For Brenton McLean, we'll let him test. We're gonna tag Marcus Cook, and then we're gonna try to offer a 1-year contract extension now to Tunsil. We'll make it a $1 million or $15 million for a 1-year deal. So, you know, corner will be on my radar, especially without Brenton McLean. We'll see where he ends up. He's a quality corner, but I just, he didn't want to come back. I'm not gonna try to hassle him to come back. And then everyone else is solid depth here. So we'll see where these guys go. Okay, so we have $41 million to work with. And let's now go check out our roster here. $41 million. I don't think we have a ton of necessarily needs. You know, I think at wide receiver, we're kind of set. You know, we have the guys on the roster between both future starters here and the number 3 receiver in Dexter Perry, who played excellent in the Super Bowl. He's an excellent playmaker for this team. You know, you could argue in backup running back, you can argue in backup tight end, and those will be 2 thought processes for me. Offensive line, yeah, kind of, but I think we have the 3 backups on the roster, so we're kind of set there. Defensively now, you know, this is kind of the interesting part is with Dion Woodburn, you know, we could look to move off of someone. You know, we could look to make a trade here. We could trade away John Dawson here, who hasn't gotten a ton of playing time with us, who is a very good defensive tackle. But in terms of playing time, he really hasn't played. He's been a rotational defensive tackle. So John could be traded just because of that fact if we wanted to. Corner, definitely a need. Corner's probably our biggest need entering right now. Linebacker, kind of, maybe some depth. I would sit here and honestly just say cornerback. and just some depth players. So, you know, not going to go out in free agency and spend massive doses of money. We have $41 million to work with. I want to keep a lot of that in-house. I mean, there's a lot of good free agents out here. So we got Rashad Gary, Jalen Waddle, KJ Dobbins. We got a lot of good players out here. Some young offensive linemen too. Let's see, we got Timmy Hall here. This is the Seattle starting quarterback who's a free agent. No one wants him. Wow. We could look for a backup quarterback, 100%. And this might be something that I decide to do at the end of everything. If I was going to go after someone right now, you know, Demarcus Benford here, he's probably my favorite out of these guys, but not going to look to do that. And again, the game continues to say I have 3 targets. I don't know what the heck's happening. It doesn't matter. We're not going to make too many free agency moves anyways, so wide receiver, again, not going to consider that. Tight end could be a spot. I think it is going to be one of our spots. Offensive line, just for the depth, I'm not going to think about it. There's a good young pass rusher out here. There's quality. This is a very good free agency class. Even Nate Parman, Chris Pritz here. My goodness. There's a lot of talent out here in free agency. This league is going to change. And maybe deservingly so. Though corner is our big question mark. Brenton McLean is out there. Andrew McLean is out there as well. I think if we're going to try to make a move here, you know, D'Angelo could be a good player. Caleb Farley could be a good player. If right now no one's interested in Marcus Green, I'm going to make an offer to him. You know, kind of lowball him a little bit. Just say, hey, come be a Houston Texan. We just won the Super Bowl. And then we're just going to go out there, and Christopher Lockhart's back out in free agency. My goodness. And then we're going to target a tight end. We're going to try to bring in Beckwith, Brenton Beckwith here. Offer him a 1-year deal. Those will be the offers that I make initially. Let's go see if we got any new Houston Texans. So we did get Marcus Green now. So we now have our another number 3 corner, and he's going to be on the roster for the next 3 years. He did not sign a massive deal, so we got a cheap, solid depth player. Can make some plays. That means that we don't have to make a ton of moves out in free agency. So now, you know, now we're just kind of waiting on the decision here for Beckwith here. So I think the next move that I would want to go after would be a running back. Zeke is out there. We could bring him in. Could consider to bring back, what's his name? Derek, or not Derek. Saquon Barkley. If Barkley is even available. I don't even see Barkley's name out here. Does anyone see Barkley? That's okay. I think if we're gonna go after a runner, I want him on a 1-year deal. Let's go after Elliott. Screw it. Might as well have a big runner behind. So we'll go after Elliott, and we'll see if we can get both Zeke and Beckwith. And we got both of them. And I think these will be all of our moves here in free agency. Get a quality backup running back and a quality tight end. And let's get into the draft now. And here we go right into the draft. We have the 32nd overall pick. Let's go view the board here. We have the 32nd overall pick. We have 2 seconds actually, and a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 7. So we do have an extra 2nd round pick this year that we can utilize to our advantage. You know, this definitely seems like a very much of a needed quarterback class. There's 5 quarterbacks that are projected to go into the 1st round. Not thinking about that. Not really thinking about running back either. Could look to draft a receiver, but I think that's kind of like asking a little too much. I honestly think here with the 32nd pick, we're either going to try to trade out of it, or we're going to go best player available, which probably would be in like an offensive lineman. It might not be like the most sexy pick. There isn't like a player that I'm looking to go up and go get. You know, there's players that I like in this draft class. No one of them I'm going to really highlight here. You know, just we got some picks to be made. I'm only gonna be making the first 2 rounds, and then I'm gonna let the CPU kind of now take over as we do sim all the way to the 32nd overall pick. So what can we do here in the first round? Well, I mean, we got a quarterback. we got 1 remaining of these quarterbacks out here. Yeah, not thinking about running back. I was considering Jackson here. Jackson is 21 years old, more of a run stopper. Was just interested in him just because we really haven't had a run stopping archetype on the roster. And Jackson could be one of those good solid depth players on the team. You know, we could look at corner again and kind of, you know, fill out this secondary completely. So corner is definitely an option. You know, there is Spencer Payne here, who is a first round projected player. We could get the sure thing here. And in Spain here, 22 years old, B-zone, C-man, solid athlete, not the best, not the worst, just a solid athlete. So I definitely think Spain is on my like board. Could draft Coakley here, but he's more a 2nd to a 3rd round talent. Might be more of a 2nd round pick for us. Ryan Paul here, he was the lineman that I was looking at and considering, maybe to replace Agnew. Not the strongest though, so you know, Ryan Paul, I honestly think it's either draft the sure thing or, I mean, Christopher Gregory here, 22 years old. He has good intangibles. It might not be the fastest, but he definitely has some good intangibles to start off with, but not thinking about him. So I think here in the first round, it's either drafting the sure thing at corner or get an interesting linebacker or get a tackle. We could use any of these 3 positional groups, but I think there's a chance that we can get Spain in the 2nd round. I kind of want to draft the offensive lineman just because we're not gonna. Let's just draft him. Yeah, 85 strength, hidden dev, Ryan Paul here. He'll be a backup. He might take over one of these spots eventually on this line though. We did not trade up now as we enter here into the 2nd round. Got 2 more picks to be made here. Coakley is still there, as well as Payne. So we're gonna draft Payne here, 100%. We're gonna go get our corner. He has hidden dev, 90 speed, quality athlete here. He'll be an excellent 4th corner on this roster. And we have 1 more pick that I will be making, and I'm gonna let the CPU kind of take over here. So we've drafted now a corner and an offensive lineman now. Could consider quarterback, but I'm just not going to. Wide receiver's not on my to-do list. We got a lineman. Always considering a defensive lineman just because, you know, I mean, there's Floyd Lawrence here who has 8 power moves, 8 tackle. Could definitely be an interesting player who is strong with elite speed as well. What's his finesse moves? I think from an interesting prospect, he's up there. Could always just draft one of these defensive tackles now. Could draft a linebacker and just have a quality lineman. You know, Kevin Ridley here with that A-zone coverage as that build for a quality depth player. Yeah, I think we're actually going to go with Kevin Ridley here. I think we have too much good defensive tackle depth, and I think Kevin here would be a quality linebacker for us. A-zone coverage, hopefully that's solid. He has hidden dev, 84 speed, 91 acceleration. So we hit on our 3 picks, hopefully, and we're going to go let the CPU and the GM take over now. Yay, we got through this draft class here, and I'm gonna let the GM kind of take over some more of these decisions now, just because it does take a long time. But Paul Ryan here, or Ryan Paul, excuse me, 74 overall, solid strength to start off with. He's an excellent pass pro, so Paul will be a solid lineman to start off with. Spain here, 75, solid depth. You'll be an excellent corner on this roster. Could probably even play safety a little bit. Block shed's a little low. Same with the hit power, but Could play safety potentially. And Kevin Ridley, 74 overall. So we hit on our 3 picks here that I made. So we have quality depth. And then the CPU drafted a linebacker, another corner, another defensive tackle, and another corner. So they went all defense. So this was just a defensive heavily draft apparently for us. And then for the overalls in this class, the highest was DeAndre Harris here. Hybrid safety went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And then J.R. Warmack here, drafted by the Packers. And now this is interesting because Davis Mills is on the Packers. Does that mean that the Green Bay Packers have now officially replaced Davis Mills? Let's go see. Yeah, they have. Mills will probably no longer be their starting quarterback. And Davis Mills has had to put up good seasons for them, but they want to go into the different direction here. They'll have a good young I mean, they already have a quarterback. They already have Hugh. What the fuck are they doing? I don't understand, Madden. I don't get it. Okay, let's get into the season and let's honestly try to repeat. We can actually do that in today's episode potentially. Well, year number 5 is going to start off. Here we go. This will be the roster as we enter in as a 91 overall across the board here. But of course now we have like actual expectation. Like we won the Super Bowl. It's time for this team now to repeat, and it's time for me to take my hands off and let this team go to work. We have a quality offensive line here. We got quality tight ends, receivers, running backs. We have everything that you would want on an offense. And then defensively, you have everything else that you want as well here. You got young, talented players, and you got also veteran talents across the board. So, you know, as we enter now into year number 8 of this rebuild, you know, who will stand out, who will continue to impress, and let's go get some victories here. I'll see you guys right around the mid-season mark. And here we are at week 7. We're sitting here in the 2nd place of the division, 3-3. So far, so good. Let's go do a quick stat update. 3-3 isn't too bad. Right around halfway through the year. Quarterback Mason Pryor, 12 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, looking solid out there. Damian Pierce, almost 500 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns. Elliott has added 5 on the ground as well. Did not expect him to get as many touches. Collins, solid start so far, a little over 300 yards, 300 yards on the dot for Wilkerson. Perry's playing very well, getting these guys involved. Okay, so far, offensively, it looks like we're not doing terribly. Troy Agnew's looking good out there. He's allowed the most sacks, though. TFL's David Elliott has led us with 6. And then for sacks, Stephen Dalton with 5.5 with Dwight Pianzo. So 2 edge rushers that we have paid are playing very well. And so far, turnovers, Marcus Green, who we have brought in. I don't even know where we brought him in from. Let's go look at his career. So he played in Green Bay for 4 years, and then he played with LA, got the 4 interceptions, and now he got the, I guess, the relatively big contract. Signed him pretty dirt cheap though. Right now, currently the 9th ranked offense with the 20th ranked defense. We need our defense to step it up. Derek Stingley did go down, so let's see if we can step it up. Let's go look at some negotiations. We have $89 million. Damian Pierce needs a new contract. Marcus Cook. We have Kenyon Green, Elliott, Dexter Perry, Larry Tunsil. We got a lot of important starters here. A lot of interesting moves that we could end up making. So this is in reality the question mark. You know, of course, we want to keep players like a Damian Pierce, Marcus Cook, Kenyon Green, and then kind of after that, after these 3 deals, which we will work on right now, is do we want to keep, you know, a player like a Dexter Perry, who is a good player? We're right now 500, and I think we will know after next game is what do we do with Perry, you know? We brought him in here trying to just give us a 3rd receiver. He's looked solid out there, but I don't know. Tunsil will keep. Gardner right now does not want to come back. Oh my goodness. Mike Moore, we brought him in on a flyer. Randy will keep. John Dawson, I don't know. Okay, we got a lot of decisions. Troy Agnew wants to come back on dirt cheap. Let's get the big contracts out of the way. Of course, we want to keep Dameon Pierce. We'll offer him this 4-year deal. He resigns. He'll be here for the remaining of the rebuild. Kenyon Green. I'm going to make this a fairly player-friendly contract. See if he wants to come back, and he does. So keep Kenyon for the next 3 years. Marcus Cook. Can you just sign this like 3-year, $55 million deal? Okay. So we got the big 3 under contract. I think just because I don't know the direction of this season's going to be, let's sim 1 more week, and then from there we might end up making some trades, trading away some players like a Larry Young, you know, 26 years old, might get like a 3rd round, 4th round pick. But I don't know just yet. A lot of these guys are quality depth, quality players, but I don't know. We might have some more changes here in Houston. So we were able to pick up the victory here. We did beat the Seahawks 41-20. So I'm going to keep the roster. I'm going to keep the roster the same. We're just going to play this year out, see what we can do. We kept the most important starters on the roster. So, you know, I think we kind of keep the course going. We sim to the end of the season, and we kind of go from here. Well, we have 3 more games remaining. We just beat the Indianapolis Colts 30-27. Sitting here at 9-5, it looks like that Week 18 game could become very, very important. You know, now we're gonna be on this stretch here. So, you know, right now, guys, you know, we're stacking up victories. We're looking good out there. We got another victory versus the Niners. So, you know, right now we're looking relatively good. We're 10-5 right now, and we're currently the 6th seed. We have the opportunity here. See, the Dallas Cowboys are currently the 7th seed. You know, hopefully, as we're going to continue trucking along here, hopefully we can finish this season out, make this Week 18 game very important, and it is. We just got blown out 38-0. Okay. Well, this is basically for the division here today. We'll do these upgrades. If there's any players that I know that I've just been focusing on other skills other than the one that's their number 1, because the game only upgrades the first skill. So Russell Goings here, we've been upgrading across the board for him. He's developed excellently as a quality safety for us. Dion here, who I've been mostly working on his speed rushing ability. It's just his lowest rating. I would love for him to be just an all-around and excellent edge rusher for us. Then for Dion Payne here, I've been working on his man coverage just because that's his lowest coverage rating. But overall, guys, you know, fantastic season. We have 1 more game here in the regular season here in year 8. Will we be winning the division, or will we be playing in the wild card round? Either way, we'll be playing in the wild card round, I assume. But will we be winning the division? And we do. We did beat the Tennessee Titans 28-14 as we have made it back to the postseason. Excellent job here for our team, our squad. My goodness. Where do we rank? I guess we're the number 2 seed. And no, we're actually the number 3 seed here. Titans moved to the number 6 seed. There's a lot of changes that are happening. Some teams that we know, but the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets are 2 kind of newer teams. We know these teams like the Titans, the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. And then on the other side, we see the Cowboys. The NFC East is represented besides the Philadelphia Eagles here. Let's go quickly through some scouts. We'll go through the yearly awards. So Mason Pryor, 4,400 yards, 30 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. Not a bad season, not a great year, but a very, very solid season for him. 1,300 yards and 20 rushing touchdowns for Dameon Pierce. Add on 13 by Ezekiel Elliott with 666. My goodness. Our running game was on point this year. Dexter Perry led us with 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. Have yet to give him a contract extension. maybe we should reconsider here. Is this Dexter's first ever 1,000-yard campaign? It's his second. So he's played 2 years with us, and he's been a solid contributor. Nico Collins, less than 1,000 yards. We've seen this story before. I mean, most likely Collins didn't play the entire season. It's his worst year as a Texan. I mean, his numbers have kind of declined, kind of not either. But Collins still one of the best in the league. Paul Wilkerson, 61 yards, 800 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Dameon Pierce was a big player through the receiving aspect as well. 71 catches, that's a career high and across the board. Gabriel wasn't a massive factor. Only played in 12 games, but Brenton here, he helped out this offense as best as he can. And, you know, overall, happy about that. Offensive line, how did you guys play? 10 sacks allowed by Tunsil. Everyone else was under 5, so that's good. Nova led us in tackles with a little over 100. DFL's David Elliott with 14, Pianzo with 13, Stephen Dalton with 12, who's not known for a run stopper. Got the pressure this year. Dalton led us with 12.5. Elliott had 11. Dwight Pianzo had 9, and then Dion Woodley with 4.5. And overall, defense was able to generate a pass rush even without me. Marcus Green only ended the year with 3 interceptions. Could have had more, I thought. Marcus Cook had 3. Payne, the rookie corner, had 3 as well. And a couple other guys got some turnovers. So overall, we had a top 5 offense in the league, which we're probably more known for an offensive side of the ball now, and we have a top 7 or top 10 defense. Kenny Pickett is your MVP. Did not expect to see his name there. And then whoever the heck that is the coach of the year. We'll only focus on the NFC. Dameon Pierce, offensive player of the year. Myles Garrett, defensive player of the year. Brenton Bass Knight, offensive rookie of the year. And our corner wasn't even rookie of the year. Or no, excuse me, these are defensive player of the year. Excuse me, that was the offensive player of the year. This is defense. No, these are rookie of the year. What the heck? Where's our corner? It's number 5. Wow. Kind of getting snubbed right there. Don't expect to see Mason Pryor highly. Of course, Jonathan Taylor wins running back of the year. Amarion St. Brown, best receiver. And I don't know if we're going to have any other Houston Texans, and we don't. But Dameon Pierce leads the way here, as now we have another playoff run here. We're going 11-6, one of our better records throughout this franchise and campaign. Last year also went 11-6 and made it to the postseason. So now can we do it again here? Can we make it back-to-back seasons that we have win the Super Bowl? So here in the wild card round, what do we do versus our divisional rivals? We won, we beat them 24-21. Excellent job here for the Houston Texans. And again, I will be just going through these upgrades now just so then we can be the highest overall team that we possibly can. With Ryan Paul, you know, some of these linemen I like to just kind of get their skills to be more well-rounded. So when I do just kind of sit back and just hit auto, then they feel better. For a player like Kevin Ridley, the rookie linebacker we drafted, I've been focusing more on run stopping for him. Just to get again, for him to be a solid contributor, he needs to be able to stop the run as much as he needs to be able to play in the passing game. And then for Dwight Pianzo, we'll go with run stopper for him. You know, he got 9.5 sacks or 9 sacks this year. He's an excellent playmaker for our defense. He's one of my favorite players on our roster, actually. And then for Devin Gardner here, one of our more good linemen, one of our definitely above average offensive linemen, he gets an agile upgrade. And then for everyone else, they will just be auto. So now we're here in the divisional round versus the Kansas City Chiefs, another rival of ours. We've played a lot of great battles against them. Can we beat them now to get to the AFC Championship game? And we can't. They have kicked us out yet again here. So we lost 42-31 in a ball game where it looks like the Chiefs kind of just took over here. They stayed hot and they were consistent. We couldn't run the football at all. Mason Pryor threw a late interception, let's just assume. And, you know, overall wise, you know, we couldn't run the football. That was a problem. Paul Wilkerson went off though, so that's good, but everyone else struggled massively. A few sacks allowed, but not gonna blame the line here. I guess you could blame our defense, but you know, we got a sack, couldn't get an interception. Bob Hunter got let's just say he got the game-winning INT. So, we went 2-2 in the postseason. Let's now get to the Super Bowl. So the next time we will be doing another off season here. Here is your Pro Bowl roster, as Mason Pryor did get in, Damian Pierce got in, fullback didn't. Would we have any receivers? I don't think so. No one at tight end. Kenyon Green got in. Center, no. No one else for the offensive line. I'm not expecting any defensive linemen. We could see one. Not seeing anyone else here, especially on the defensive side of the football. So, you know, we got our Super Bowl. We got back to the postseason. It's now, you know, with the last two remaining episodes, you know, this is kind of like a big one for us into the next episode, because it's our last, you know, chance that I'm really gonna give a you know, and I'm gonna care. But the Super Bowl, we got the Buccaneers versus, actually last year was Super Bowl 63. Okay, you know what? I don't care. Tampa Bay versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. Who will win it? As the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won the Super Bowl, beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 31-24, as Robbie Edmond won the MVP. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league currently. So, you know, we've done it. You know, we didn't make the postseason, or we made the postseason. We just couldn't get to the Super Bowl. These were all the players on our practice squad. We'll just auto upgrade all of them. But we have 2 more years to go through, ladies and gentlemen. And as we're going to be entering technically now into year number 10, or year number 9, excuse me. You know, what moves should we be considering? What could we do? What couldn't we do? I mean, I think when you look at this offense, you got the line. You know, Ryan Paul will probably end up taking over for Troy Agnew here. Whatever happens with Tunsil happens with Tunsil. I probably won't keep him, and we'll go with the 2 young tackles now. So then we have to decide on Gardner, and if we can keep Gardner, then we kind of have a good offensive line to continue building forward. You know, receivers were solid at. You know, quarterbacks were good. I mean, I think we have our roster. I don't know if, you know, the next offseason we're going to make that next massive splash. You know, defensively, you know, we could look at another defensive tackle. That probably would be the case, but we could move Dion, or we could move Dwight Pianzo to defensive tackle to kind of like replace John Dawson if we wanted to. That is definitely a move that I'm considering to be made. And then put Dion back on the outside, let Pianzo and Elliott rush from the interior and let them go to work here. So next time will be an off season for us, but I don't think that we're going to make too many changes to this team. I think that this team is good enough. It's just, you know, can we get back over the hump here? We're going to sim one more week here. I just want to show you guys the potential free agents, just to show you guys what I'm talking about here. You know, because we got 2 more years of simulation, and we will see here. So, you know, we have $66 million to work with. So, Perry Dexter, he now wants to come back. Will he come back? I don't know. Tunsil did not retire. Devin Gardner, he's probably going to be... So, like, if I'm going to look at this with $66 million, you know, is Tunsil better than the backup that we have currently on the roster? Maybe a little bit. Could you argue not to keep Tunsil? Yes. Could you argue to keep him? Yes. I don't, you know, it's kind of up in the air right now. Gardner, he is a player that I would like to keep for the remaining 2 years. Randy Moore, same thing. Mike Moore, we just brought him in off a flyer. You know, all these players here want to come back because of their Super Bowl potential, but You know, I think some of these guys will be letting go. Some of these guys we will be keeping. Gardner's probably on the short list. Dexter Perry, he's just the interesting one because I do have 2 young receivers that you could argue could start, and you know, we could just like kind of restart here. I also don't know who needs a contract next season, because don't forget, basically what you have to kind of look at if on my end is, you know, players with 1 remaining season. So, you know, does any of these guys, so James Palmer, do we want him for the last year of the rebuild? Maybe. Caleb Farley, he will get the 5th-year option. You know, I'm actually not seeing too many players. I mean, Stephen Dalton. I mean, Dalton will give him a contract extension. He's been here throughout all of his career. And this is, he actually just had his breakout campaign now. But, you know, I don't know how many of these players will be staying. Defensive tackle will probably become a big spot for the team. You know, you have Justin Cannon. Do you keep Cannon? Do you not keep Cannon? This is the interesting thing about Cannon, though. I have been developing him, not just as a pass cover linebacker, but he can go get the quarterback. He is fast. He's athletic. He can play almost anywhere on this front 7, to be honest with you guys. So he might be a valuable player to keep on the team. But yeah, guys, you know, not too many moves I'm assuming that we will have to be made. Jalen Petrie, we will have to attempt to keep again. Can we? I don't know. But guys, please leave a like, comment down below what you thought. Let me know down below what type of moves you want to see me make here. How aggressive do you want me to be here with the remaining 2 years here in the Texans franchise rebuild? And again, guys, please leave a like, comment down below what you thought, and don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next one.